Tattletale.
Someone who reports others' mistakes or misdeeds. Example: he's a tattletale, always running to the boss about small issues. Drama queen. Someone who overreacts to minor issues and seeks attention. Example: she's such a drama queen, always making a fuss over the smallest things.
Snob.
Someone who thinks they are superior to others. Example: she's a snob, always looking down on people she considers less sophisticated. Jerk. Someone who is rude or mean. Example: he was such a jerk, cutting in line and pushing people aside. Grump. Someone who is easily annoyed and in a bad mood. Example: don't mind him, he's just a grump who complains about everything.
Nosy.
Someone who is overly curious about other people's lives. Example: she's so nosy, always asking about things that aren't her business.
Backstabber.
A person who betrays or deceives others. Example: he was a backstabber, spreading lies about his friends behind their backs. Airhead. Someone who is not very smart or is forgetful. Example: she forgot her phone at home again. What an airhead! Blabbermouth. Someone who talks too much and can't keep secrets. Example: don't tell her anything. She's a blabbermouth. Stubborn. Someone who is unwilling to change their mind or attitude. Example: she's so stubborn, she won't admit she was wrong.
Bossy.
Someone who tells others what to do all the time. Example: she's so bossy, she always wants to control everything we do.
Bonehead.
A foolish or stupid person. Example: only a bonehead would leave their keys in the car with the engine running. Cheap. Someone who doesn't want to spend money and is stingy. Example: he's too cheap to buy a round of drinks for everyone.
Bum.
Someone who avoids work and is often lazy. Example, he's just a bum, always sitting around and doing nothing. Clingy. Someone who is too dependent on others for attention and affection. Example, he's so clingy, he calls me all the time and can't stand being alone. Chicken. Someone who is afraid or lacks courage. Example, don't be a chicken, try the new ride, it's fun. Creep. Someone who behaves in an unsettling or disturbing way. Example, that guy at the party was a real creep, always staring and making people uncomfortable. Conceited. Someone who is too proud of themselves and their abilities. Example, he's so conceited, always bragging about his achievements. Dimwit. A person who is not very intelligent. Example, he was acting like a dimwit, not understanding the simplest instructions.
Moaner.
Someone who complains a lot. Example, he's always a moaner, never satisfied with anything. Freeloader. Someone who takes advantage of others and doesn't contribute. Example, he's a freeloader, always eating our food without helping out.
Flake.
Someone who is unreliable and often cancels plans. Example, she's such a flake, she never shows up when she says she will. Idiot. A person who acts in a very foolish way. Example, it was such an idiot move to forget the important documents at home. Gossiper. Someone who spreads rumors or talks about others behind their backs. Example, she's a gossiper, she's always talking about what others are doing. Loser. Someone who is unsuccessful or lacks social skills. Example, he feels like a loser because he hasn't achieved his goals yet. Know-it-all. Someone who acts as if they know everything. Example, I can't stand him, he's such a know-it-all, always correcting everyone.
Lunatic.
Someone who behaves in a crazy or irrational way. Example, that guy is a lunatic, driving like a maniac on the highway. Loudmouth. Someone who talks loudly and says things that should be kept private. Example: he's a loudmouth, always broadcasting everyone's secrets.
Pessimist.
Someone who always expects the worst to happen. Example: he's such a pessimist, he never believes things will turn out well. Nerd. Someone who is very interested in technical or intellectual subjects. Example: he's a total nerd when it comes to computers and video games. Pretentious. Someone who tries to appear more important or knowledgeable than they are. Example: his pretentious attitude made him seem insincere and annoying. Pig. Someone who eats too much or is very messy. Example: he ate like a pig at the party, leaving crumbs everywhere. Sponger. Someone who takes advantage of others and avoids responsibility. Example: he's a sponger, always borrowing money without ever paying it back.
Slop.
Someone who is very messy and untidy. Example: his room is a disaster, he's such a slob. Weirdo. Someone who is strange or unconventional. Example: he's a bit of a weirdo, with his unusual hobbies and quirks. Ungrateful. Someone who does not show appreciation for what they receive. Example: she was ungrateful for the help she received, not even saying thank you.
Witch.
Someone who is perceived as unpleasant or difficult to deal with. Example: she can be a real witch when things don't go her way.
Wimp.
Someone who is weak or lacks courage. Example: stop being a wimp and face your fears head-on. Wuss. Someone who is weak or easily frightened. Example: he's such a wuss, always getting scared at the slightest thing. Thanks for watching and subscribe us for more knowledgeable videos.